What's up, guys? It's Doodoo Poker here, back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about this hand and how we play against the check call donk bet line as 3-bet pot in position preflop raiser. Okay, so take a look at this hand. I am on the cutoff. Under the gun raises. I 3-bet with ace-10 of hearts. Under the gun calls. Flop comes queen of diamonds, 9 of clubs, 5 of hearts. I c-bet for small, for range. He calls. Turn, I pick up my flush draw and an open-ended straight draw. He donks. I call, and I miss on the river, and he donks 50. Now, I think most people would just fold here, not think anything of it, but we have to think about the spot. Remember, if we have MDA for the spot, we need to dig a little deeper and look at the MDA and see how people are constructing ranges. Okay, so first, let's look at theory. Okay, so theory, I'm in the cutoff. I 3-bet. Under the gun calls. Flop comes queen of diamonds, 9 of clubs, 5 of hearts. We know in theory that this is a range bet for cutoff, so I bet 33. My opponent calls. Now, on the turn, a jack of hearts comes. Is this a donk spot in theory? Yes, it is. Okay? So first things first, we have to understand, is this guy a fish or a reg? Well, he has a big stack. He has some pretty reggy stats, so I'm inclined to call him a reg. Okay? We're going to look at both profiles, fish profile and reg profile for this line, but I'm inclined to call him a reg. Okay, so good on him for knowing that the turn is a donk spot. So in game, he donks small, just like a solver would. Okay, so I have a decision to make. I can either call with my ace-10 of hearts or raise. I prefer calling because I know how to play rivers. Okay, so we decide to call, and the river we miss. Okay, the river comes a queen of clubs, and my opponent bets 50. We'll say 61 here, okay? So, after check calling flop, donking turn, he decides to bet river, all right? So I think most people would just fold here, not think anything of it. And, in fact, that's what a solver does, right? But we have to think. We have to think, how are people constructing ranges? Well, let's take a look at some MDA, okay? And I'm going to follow along here, too. Follow along here in the actual hand. Boom. He donks. Okay. So let's look at the reg MDA first. Okay. So this is the reg MDA under the gun and hijack are combined versus in position preflop raiser for 3-bet pots. Okay. So we see here he donked on the turn. It doesn't have the turn sizing, but then he bet 50 on the river. Okay, we see in the check call 30 bet 50 line, it is over bluffed by 10%. Remember, green is over bluffed, red is under bluffed, and blue is GTO, and NES is not enough sample. Okay, so we know it's over bluffed in the reg profile. Let's take a look at the fish profile just in case. The fish profile for the same spot is massively overbluffed. Okay, check call 30, donk, bet, way overbluffed by 20% in the bet 50 line. Okay, so you might think, okay, well, we should call, but we have to look at board texture. The board texture here has a lot of pairs, right? There's a lot of king jack, a lot of 10-9, jack 10. Yes, he could have 7-6 or 8-7. We beat those hands. But he could have a lot of pairs turn into bluffs as well. And that's a disaster for us. So, we know in MDA, it's over bluffed. And remember the MDA principle. Any line that is over bluffed is by definition over folded. Okay, so we know this. So what we do with our ace-10 is we deviate from a solver. We do not fold. Okay, what we do is we jam. We jam our hand because we know that this line is over bluffed. Okay, and we don't want a hand like pocket sixes, pocket sevens, maybe even like ace king to beat us at showdown, because that would be a disaster, right? So what we do is, instead of folding, we jam all in and he folds, okay? So this is one way we can deviate from a solver with MDA, because remember, we know it's overbluffed, so it's overfolded by definition, okay? So I thought this was a cool hand. I like going over these spots that are pretty rare, because when you have the MDA for it, you start distinguishing between donk lines. For example, the check call donk bet line is different than the donk bet line, which is different than the check call donk line. All these donk lines are different, okay? So this line is overbluffed, okay? So remember, in the future, in the check call donk bet line, to overbluff and overcall your bluff catchers, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please subscribe for more content like this in the future. And I will see you in the next video. Happy New Year to everyone, and take care.